So, welcome everyone to this very special live about the Winter World Cup, the pros and cons of this tournament, and the group stage discussion. Today, we have some of our very esteemed panelists. We have Mr. Uday Kumar, who is one of the most prestigious former footballers in India. He has previously played with Mohan Bagan and Churchill Brothers. We have Mr. Sachin Karekar, who is the Mumbai Marines owner and the co-founder of Thane City FC. And we have Dr. Pradyumna, who is the Indian ambassador for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So just wanted to say welcome. Thank you for joining us. And let's begin with this discussion. Okay. So first and foremost, this is a World Cup unlike any other because it's happening in winter for the first time in history. So, what do you think are the pros and cons of a Winter World Cup? Let's start with Pradyumna.
Well, pros and cons for having a Winter World Cup. Now, this is you've really started off on a very interesting note. Pros, I see a lot of pros in it because it's a change concept. Uh, After such a long time, we don't have something that is being hosted in the months of June to July, the months where predominantly Indian audiences are just braving the rains here and trying to fight the monsoon. But also at the same time, when it comes to organizing a particular tournament, it's a completely new experience. It's completely different to what was the traditional calendar that was going around the clock. The cons, yes, the schedule gets distracted. You have a set calendar of 10 months across all the leagues, or predominantly the majority of the leagues throughout the world. And because of having this World Cup in the frame of November, December, the chain gets broken, which can throw advantages or disadvantages for teams having their positions in their respective leagues. So I think also with the injuries that might just come up, or which might make or break players' careers as well. So pros and cons are on their same side, but as far as this opinion, if you're asking my personal opinion here, then I would say like let's forget all the pros and cons. But it's just 4 days to go for the biggest festival in the world.
So, Mr. Uday, what do you think about the pros and cons of this tournament
See,
being held in winter?
the pros is as such, it's a welcome decision that it's something new concept is come out. Actually, the World Cup is always held during summer time, but this thing is a change. It's something like it's winter, but still, although it is been held in winter, but the cons are the conditions from which they are coming. The players are normally playing in a Northern Hemisphere league. So when they play in that league, although in the earlier stage the degrees is almost as same as what it will be in Qatar right now, but when in the later stages, if you see, it will go to 60 to 70 degrees, which will be a really hard fatigue for the players, and which will be a injury prone. And giving into consideration, we have just come out from the uh, EPL league and other leagues, so it will be very difficult for the players to come in a short span to recover from the injuries, and they have hardly got any much practice period for a club, for the country to prepare themselves. They need match practice, which the country would have hardly got it. So, looking at all into that, taking into all that consideration, as Pradyum said, we can always not go into always for pros and cons, but given into consideration. But since one good point is something new is happening in a desert country like Qatar, a small country trying to come up in the world level, so we should try to encourage them rather to discourage them after so many, uh, you know, whatever they are trying to come up in the world level. So we should give them a boost rather than looking at more of their negativity. We should try to boost from their positive angle to help them see that this tournament is successful.
Sachin, what do you think about the pros and cons of this event?
Pros would be the weather, definitely. It's a great time to have a but definitely considering it was Qatar also, it's a great time to have the World Cup during winter. It's a great weather, but as Sir Uday Sir also said that we teams did not have a lot of practice together. Ronaldo and Messi just joined their teams right now. No friendly matches. I still remember the Champions League final, and then there used to be 10 days of intense action of a lot of friendlies happening. So that's not happening right now. So the teams have not played with each other for quite some time because league scheduled overlap. But this would be advantageous for countries like Japan, where the league ends in November. So that's about it.
So, according to me, there are very obvious pros and there are very obvious cons. As per my opinion, one of the pros is that football is being promoted in a region where, say, the World Cup is happening in the Middle East for the first time.
Yeah.
As Uday sir said very correctly, it's a chance for a country like Qatar to promote football, to have an infrastructure. And by seeing these players, some of the most iconic ones like Messi and Ronaldo, who probably play in their last tournament World Cup ever, it will inspire generations to come in the region to take it up as a sport, because you're going to see them live. In terms of cons, I think having the World Cup in the middle of the season has meant that a lot of players are injured. Okay, because they are playing with their clubs, and the next week they're playing for the country. When it was in the summer, you would have a month break where players would have time to recuperate. If there are injuries, that those could have been managed. But we are seeing a lot of injuries for a lot of teams, and I think that's a bit concerning because a lot of players would have wanted to participate in the World Cup, but people are getting injured while training as well. But I'm optimistic that it's going to be a great World Cup, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, just moving on to a very small question after this. On injuries, do you all think that the quality of football might suffer because, say, a country like France is missing Pogba, Kante, is missing, a lot of players now, through injury. They just missed Nkunku yesterday because of injury. So, do you think that that might affect the quality of the World Cup?
Definitely, that is going to affect the quality of the World Cup. It has been a quite an intense season till now in Europe, and certainly you are going to play for the national team in a widely different environment. So definitely, it's going to affect the players. But yeah, we will still see great action all around. We will be seeing surprises as well. We will be seeing, and as you said, we will be seeing Ronaldo and Messi play their last World Cup, and a lot of players. Like there's this generation of players who are playing their last World Cup. So you are going to see that. So there are definitely pros and cons, and definitely there are injuries even when the World Cup happens during summertime as well. There is an intense season. After that, you might have just 1 odd month for recovery. That's a good time, but sometimes you don't recover in time for the World Cup. So injuries happen during before every World Cup, during every league season.
Pradyumna, do you think that the quality of football might suffer because of the number of players that are injured for their and cannot compete at this tournament?
I don't know because I'm going to watch the games anyhow. So you want to stay injured, you don't want to stay injured. I am watching the games. I am watching the best quality football. But yeah, as far as the player careers are concerned, yes, it does take a massive hit because you have a generation of players like Kai Havertz or like let's say Timo Werner who's probably playing a first or second World Cup for Germany. On the other side, you have a Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo spectrum, Luka Modric. Let's take that for example. Even Christian Eriksen might not be able to play World Cup for international football due to obvious reasons. Um, so right from that spectrum, and any sort of injury to any sort of player at any point of time that rules one out of an entire tournament. You know, be it even local level football tournament hurts an individual to to a psychological level. This is the biggest tournament of all time. So When it comes to a personal level, yes, I can empathize with the condition of a particular individual, but the show must go on. So I'm just going to
Yeah,
grab a
absolutely.
food item in the stadium and just watch them play, irrespective of whatever happens.
Rightly
I'm so
said.
sorry, I'm being
So,
selfish a
so
bit here,
go
but
for
hey, it's the World Cup.
absolutely. Uday, Mr. Uday, what do you think? Do you think the quality of football will suffer because the players have just been playing for the clubs and there are a number of injuries? Um,
See, as far as the quality is concerned, all the top players are playing in the top league. So as per their individual talent, you cannot doubt them. But when it comes to country level, it has to be seen how many practices the top stars have played together as a country. When it comes to club level, the players are different, the level is different. But when you play as a country, as a unit, it has to be seen how many practices you have done played together. Because some are playing in the very top league, some are playing some on the other league. So it becomes very difficult to come on one stage and perform unitedly. So it is always the individual brilliance that pays off rather than the team game. That is where the countryside always suffers. That is where the strong teams are only dependent on top stars, and the teams which are non-dependable on their stars, except having one or two in their team, like for example, Sadio Mane and Ronaldo, when it comes as a unit, they are far more better performing than the clubs which are favorites.
right. So, I completely agree with you. To be honest, I think the training matters, and the fact that teams have not prepared enough, as Sachin also said, could play a factor in the kind of football that we see. But as Pradyumna also said, who cares? It's the World Cup, and we're gonna enjoy it anyway. Yeah, let's move on to the group stage discussion. So, in the short answers, which team do you think are favorites to reach the finals, and why? Pradyumna, you want to go first?
I'm not going first on this. I'm not going to take the sledgehammer here. Please, I'll pass on the. I'm actually rooting for Sachin to answer this question. Because he always has these analytical answers every single time with statistics
I don't,
proven every now and then. Sachin, please just give
I
your
don't know.
persistence with the proof.
Statistically, if you look at the odds and everything, it looks like it's going to be an Argentina Brazil final, and
Yeah,
it would be a festival.
right.
It's going to be a massive, massive this. But yeah, my bets on Argentina versus Brazil. It's the answer is quite cliched, but
Both
look
are
at the
going into the
odds.
tournament as
Yeah,
favorites as well.
yeah, both are the favorites. Odds wise, they are doing well. Performance wise, they are doing well. Both have good players, great players. The
Yeah,
Brazilians got mind blowing stuff. The
yeah.
kind of bench that they have right now. You know,
The attacking talent is incredible, bro.
exactly, exactly. So
You don't know who are they going to drop now, considering the players that they have.
exactly. So this is going to be a festival. So my bets on Brazil versus Argentina right now for final, and with of course there would be dark horses like Spain as well.
Yeah. Mr. Uday, what do you think? Who do you think will take it to
I've
the?
got around. I also slightly. I'm with Sachin. Only thing is, as he's saying, the favorites are as open, Brazil and Argentina. But I would love to see if Messi wins the World Cup for Argentina. If not for somebody, it should be for Diego Maradona as a remembrance. Because as it is his last World Cup, and
Right,
his dream also will be achieved through this. But
right,
again, I will say I will also go for Brazil too, because again there's Neymar and other youngster Anthony also, who's coming in as an upcoming player for the Brazilian team and who's doing very well in the club also. At the
right.
same time, there are very horses which you cannot keep them at bay. For example, Belgium, Spain, England, and not forgetting Netherlands. After long, they are coming back into the World Cup. So you cannot, keep them aside and not thinking, but just because the days of Ruud Gullit, Van Basten, and David Edgar is gone, you cannot, keeping Netherlands out. So I feel there are other players and other teams also who are going to give a good run for these top level clubs who are in the fray.
So I'm assuming Pradyumna still doesn't want to respond to that question. No?
Oh man, now I'll. Oh boy, I mean, Sachin, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to disagree with what you've said, but since you've stated numbers and everything, I still feel I'm going in for the gamble. But Argentina does look like a favorite team to win the World Cup, but I don't know why in my mind it's like, in these tournaments, some team finds momentum out of nowhere and ends up in the
Yeah.
final every single time, springs a surprise. Netherlands 2010, it was Argentina 2014, and all of a sudden Croatia found out pace out of nowhere. They just find one game, two game, and the 3 game streak was it's like a Snapchat streak. Once you hit 3 games, you just want to continue till the last game. I had two scenarios in my mind which I drafted in the algorithm chart, which you get for the round of 16, 8 on one side, 8 on the other, then 4 on one side. So I had two scenarios. One could be Germany, England. I don't know why. Because England, the core team of England has been retained. Which Southgate played in 2018. Notable names such as Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount. Some names are new, but majority of the squad is on the core from 2018. So they are going to get experience from that. They have a Euro 2020, which was played in 2021. They have a defeat which they have, fresh in their minds. France had the same history in 2016. When they lost the 2016 final to Portugal and they won the 2018 World Cup. So they know what a loss is. At the same time, why I don't know Germany, because Hansi Flick just turns into a cricket coach on a football field. He just plays on score lines. He's done it with Bayern Munich. He has a very rejuvenated young talent along with experienced talent which he knows how to manage. And also, I don't know what it does to the players in the gymnasium as well. But that's why I was thinking it could be a Germany England final, or the other scenario was France Argentina. But I don't think France is getting that far because of the injuries that they have and the issues that Deschamps is too busy handling inside the team. So as of now, I've got these two scenarios, but let's see what happens.
So, for me, I'm not going to be analytical about this at all. As much as I would love to have Germany in the final, since that's the team that I like at the international stage, I want to see Messi and Ronaldo in the final, and let one of them win it. So, Argentina, Portugal for me, and both of them playing in the starting lineup. And yeah, let's see. You know, uh, I was just saying, Sachin, that I would like to see Messi and Ronaldo in the final. So Portugal
I,
versus Argentina, and let one of them win the World Cup. In their careers, I think it's just
yeah,
Sorry, are you trying to create a rift of two legends of Messi and Ronaldo to come on the center stage
I think
openly in the
I think
World
it's not
Cup?
the rift. I think it's
I,
the cherry on the
I
cake for
think so.
their illustrious career.
If that
Or,
final happens,
or
the
you
world
want
will
to
be
prove
divided, right?
who is the
You
best
two,
before retiring? Who is the best before retiring, Messi or Ronaldo?
And let them decide for themselves rather than we decide for them. So, and I just want only both of them to score goals in the final. So that would be like 4-3 or something, but only they are scoring. So, I mean, see, it's just football. Anything can happen. You can't predict. So might as well predict the outcome that you want to see rather than being realistic.
with all the controversy surrounding Ronaldo right
Yeah.
now, it would be a great thing that he goes into the finals right now and probably shuts off
As
all United fans.
I probably should say this as a Manchester United fan, but at this moment I would rather say Argentina wins. So,
As a Messi fan, I want the Argentina to win, but I just want that United fans to shut off right now.
Now, Sachin, actually,
that's me.
when Saad actually mentioned about Ronaldo being on the starting 11, even I had the same thing. That hang on, has he watched the Ronaldo interviews? Like, why is he saying starting 11 for Cristiano Ronaldo? Is it like the Ten Hag dig that he wants to take on the sidelines?
So let's not go there. We are on the clock as it is. So, which are some of the young upcoming stars that you guys think that we should keep an eye on in this tournament? Let's start with Mr. Uday.
Uh, there are a lot of them, but to name a few, from Nigeria and Brazil, Anthony, as I told you, and a player from France, I'm forgetting the name. Sorry,
It's okay.
but there are few players who are really you can say can be look up to, and there's one player from Italy. There are a lot of few players, around about 8 to 10 players. Uh, 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 I'm just recollecting the names, but as of now, Luis Diaz is there, and then Luis Diaz, Jude Bellingham from England, and Anthony from Brazil, and Jamal Musiala from Germany. So here are these few players which is on my mind right now, whom you can look up to as a upcoming emerging stars in the future from this World Cup. What do you think, Sachin?
Yeah, look at Pedri, Gavi,
Huh?
Pedri and Gavi, who will be playing the World Cup as well. So, these are two talents I want to really watch and watch them play right now. And these would be my two players to watch out this time around.
And Pradyumna, what do you think? Which are the young players that we need to keep an eye on?
I think Sahal Abdul Samad, also Akash Mishra on the left back. Oh, sorry, this is the World Cup. Oh, sorry, I was already thinking about Asian Cup. Sorry, apologies. But
I have wore the India polo t-shirt, but that does not mean we are discussing the national team right now.
no, I mean, even if the World Cup is on, all the leagues are shut down. The ISL is still going on, so I don't know. We have a different calendar offer. So even I was thinking, wait, Sahal Abdul Samad can also be a famous name in Qatar, anyways.
Yeah. That's
Based on
exactly
that.
what I thought, that he might be playing for Saudi or Qatar. That's why I'm just nodding my head that I don't want to ignorant that okay, that guy.
I think one player I'm definitely wanting to watch out for is Eduardo Camavinga.
The guy who injured Nkunku.
Kamavinga was somebody I was definitely looking forward to see with Kante because once you're big shoes to fill, um, the kind of responsibility a youngster needs to take on that stage. But even that player, even N'Golo Kante being out and sidelined during the World Cup, you need to see what kind of attitude shift this newer, younger French squad takes. uh, Pedri Gavi, yes, for Spain. I was supporting such a in that. And as a Chelsea fan myself, I'm going to say Kai Havertz. Relatively young, along with senior team experience, but relatively he's a younger player to watch out for. Anthony and all, I don't know. I mean, if he's not doing his freestyle footballing tricks for Brazil, I think he would be a good sensation to watch. Sorry, Saad, you're a United fan, but at the same time, I would love to. I'm rooting for Kai Havertz because this guy has the ability of creating chances and scoring them at big games, even if he does not score regularly in normal games. But when it is the big time, when it is time to turn up, he does turn up. So if I could see Kamavinga, then Kamavinga, but Kai Havertz for Germany.
Right. So I would like to say Anthony, but I don't know if he'll get to play enough for Brazil considering the kind of options that they have, and his inexperience. He's also been injured in the last few weeks at United, so momentum not on his side. And for a competition like this, you want players who are in form. Over say even if there's a big name, you would rather take an informed player because performing on the day matters more than the name on the sheet. I agree with Sachin about the two Spanish players, Pedri and Gavi. I think they are very exciting talents. Jude Bellingham is extremely exciting, probably the hottest prospect I can see in world football, along with these two. So he's one. And yeah, I would like to see Kamavinga, but it's just France is just too. They have so much depth that it's just that they're just too spoiled. So I don't really care whether he does well or not. So that's just. But yeah, he's an exciting talent. So let's move on to the group stage. Okay. How we'll do is I will we'll go group wise. Okay, where each of us gives our predictions about where do you think the teams will end up in each group, and then we move on to the next group. Okay. So Group A features Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Holland. So let's start with Pradyumna. How do you think these teams will place after the matches are done in the group stage?
He's probably going to say Qatar is going to top the group A.
I'm wearing orange anyway, Sachin. I'm
Yeah, I
wearing
know.
orange anyway. So I'm rooting for the
No, but
for the
I
color.
still feel, Sachin,
Hmm.
again,
Yeah.
Qatar will have a very good time with
Oh yeah,
Ecuador and Senegal also, because Senegal is one African country which have out and out come to this, beating the top Asian African countries in
yes,
Africa.
yes.
So you cannot run them down.
Oh yeah, no,
So
Senegal are the dark horses according to me.
yeah,
They
so
are
Senegal and Ecuador are equally far more better. Either, although their names are not taken as much, but yes, Qatar has an option tilted on them as a host nation, because the odds will be more as a host country, plus the level of support will also be more, and expectation will be very high from them, because since they are hosting it for the first time, the expectation will all be high on Qatar side. But I still feel Ecuador and Senegal are the dark horses from this group.
you know,
So,
and Qatar has
Uday,
also
sir,
played a lot of good competitions. You know, they have Qatar has gone for the Copa America as well. It has also played the CONCACAF World Cup, so they have had a lot of experience coming in. Plus, they are defending Asian champions. Plus, home turf. Plus, Qatar has been the place of choice for the last 3 years for any event that is happening on a neutral venue. So you know they have like a lot of home advantage will be immense for Qatar right now. And Senegal, I think Senegal are going to have a very deep run in the tournament. I wouldn't be shocked if they reach the semi-finals. I wouldn't be shocked at all because this Senegal team is capable of doing things and ruining days for a lot of other teams. So Senegal, I'm betting on them going
They've
to
also
the
done things
semi-finals.
in the past as well. Like
Yes, yes, they
they've
have
also
been.
defeated France earlier.
Yes,
In fact, they've knocked France out of one of the editions of the
but
FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
So they are capable enough of creating that upset.
And they played
Also, this group
extremely well against Nigeria too, to prove themselves in the African
yeah.
nation. So you cannot, so they are really a good bet.
Qatar and Senegal, you have two continental champions in the same group.
yes,
One is an AFCON winner, one is an AFC Asian Cup winner of 2019. And as Sachin rightly mentioned, and as an Indian citizen, I'm really proud when I say this. When you have a team which is the host nation of the World Cup, which has trained hard for 3 years consecutively and decimated each and every opposition, only to not score and only to get only 1 point against India in that qualifiers. It feels very proud as an Indian when you say that this host nation, which is such a powerful team in Asia, you know, um, could not get past. And that was the first team, by the way. Almoez Ali, Akram Afif,
yeah.
that keeper Abdul Karim Hassan, the left back. Some of the most prominent names in Qatari football there. Couldn't get past that backline of Adil Khan, Sandesh Jingan, and then Gurpreet Singh Sandhu in Doha as always. So even if Qatar does pose a threat to the Asian stage, I think world stage there's still time for them. Senegal, yes, dark horses, but the real dark horses of every edition, Netherlands, get through this group along with yes, Senegal finishes second.
so just to be clear, what do you think the teams will rank at the end of the group stage in Group A?
Senegal first, according to me. Netherlands second. Qatar third. And I don't know why I'm feeling Ecuador will come fourth. I don't know.
Pradyumna?
I think Netherlands first, Senegal second. It's only on goal difference. They might finish same on points. And Qatar, Ecuador. Yes.
Mr. Uday, what do you think?
Almost both are likely answers, both which I am expecting, one or here or there. But you can't expect much from Qatar. But it will be a surprise if they advance to the
Yeah.
second stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think it's going
And
to
I
be
think I think we're giving an element of doubt. I think we might every one of us might be giving Qatar an element of doubt, or not an element of doubt, or giving that supportive factor because
yeah,
of what Russia did in 2018.
yeah.
They went on to the quarterfinals, round of 16, they defeated Spain. But only because of that fact, maybe we might be just going towards the host nation a bit and giving them an advantage. But statistically or like on paper, it looks difficult.
Right. So I think it's going to be Netherlands first. I think Senegal will be second only because I don't think Mane is going to be available for the first few matches since he's injured. And I think Qatar is going to be third because, as Pradyumna said, the home support factor might play a part in this, and Ecuador fourth. So moving on to Group B. Okay, there's USA, Wales, Iran, and England. So, where do you all think the teams will end up? Let's start with Uday.
I feel England, Wales, and what which are the,
USA and Iran.
so most probably Iran might be little taking into consideration the scenario happening in Iran, but game wise, Iran is still a better bet on the world stage. But still, I feel England are top favorites in this group first. Then Wales, given into the level of players which they play in the European League, and then you can say USA and Iran. But there's always a surprise element from Iran if you see, always.
Sachin, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I just want to watch that US Iran game. I don't know for that geopolitical
Right.
stuff. I want to watch that US Iran game. That's
Yeah.
going to be massive, massive game. Freddie is laughing there in the corner. He knows why I'm saying this. The US Iran game will be so big, but
Yeah.
you know,
There's a lot of history there between the two.
yes.
Why do you have to make it weird, Sachin? Why do you have to make it weird?
But I don't know. It's going to be England topping the group most likely. I'm still confused about the second place. Maybe US or Wales. Iran coming last.
Pradyumna, what do you think?
This is a group of football players, soccer players, wrestlers and kabaddi players, and golf players. So I think we're gonna have England topping the group because England is England. Like the crowd as well as the players have been well conditioned now with the young squad they have. Second place, I don't know why it's probably Wales cutting through because Wales is coming after a very long time. They've just got the you know pass to the World Cup. After the qualifiers, European qualifiers. I don't know why, but Wales looks more likely because they know how to enjoy a party. I'll be very honest because the way Wales played that European Championships where they reached the semi-final, the way they were just playing as if there's nothing to lose. If there's any team in that circuit who knows how to play as if there's nothing to lose, it's Joe Allen, Gareth Bale, Wayne Hennessy, and the rest of the Wales squad. So I don't know why they might just be springing a surprise even in this edition of the World Cup.
And there are two teams remaining, no?
England and Wales. England and Wales.
Yeah, and what about third and fourth?
Oh yeah, third and fourth. I think USA finishes third, and wrestlers and kabaddi players can come back to playing wrestling and kabaddi.
So I agree with the general consensus of this. I think England are going to finish first, followed by Wales. I think Gareth Bale has nothing to lose now, and I think he's going to try to fire at least as long as he remains fit. USA and Iran. So let's move on to Group C with the tournament favorites Argentina, Poland, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia. So Sachin, let's start with you this time.
That Argentina Mexico game will be great.
Yeah.
And I think so. These are the two teams that are going to qualify out of the group. Argentina coming first, definitely. Mexico coming second, and I don't know. Poland might miss out by that bit, and probably Saudi Arabia coming last. But then this Saudi team can spring up a surprise, anytime. So
Yeah.
yeah, but Saudi Arabia coming last, Poland missing out by like a goal difference or something like that, and Argentina Mexico qualifying.
Pradyumna, what do you think?
Argentina, Mexico for me, plain. Poland and Saudi Arabia. Poland versus Saudi Arabia will be a close contest to watch. Only because Poland has got Lewandowski, but Lewandowski doesn't get any support. Is the only reason Poland might not get that second place because Mexico being Mexico, Mexico always has that pressure of performing in every World Cup because the kind of public of Mexico that comes to support them. Argentina, yes, they are a powerful team, but Mexico hasn't been a team of stars unless there have been names. Some of the names just spring up only to the World Cup occasion. So, for example, Guillermo Ochoa himself, the goalkeeper for Mexico, who just turns into prime Gianluigi Buffon during the tournament. So, names like these just come up and gel together. Also, 2018 experience has been great for them. Knocking
Yeah.
Germany out in the group stages itself. I think they're going to carry the momentum, and we would see Argentina finishing first, Mexico second, Poland and Saudi Arabia tying on points, but Poland finishing third on superior goal difference, and Saudi Arabia finishes last.
Mr. Uday, what do you think about Group C?
Group C, I feel Argentina, uh, uh, Spain,
Sorry, Argentina, Poland, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia.
sorry, Argentina. I've listed them: Argentina, Mexico, Poland, and Saudi Arabia, right? But
Yeah.
I feel Argentina are the top favorites over here. But seeing the scenario, I feel Poland will be coming second, and third will be Saudi Arabia.
Right. And
That
you think
will be
Mexico will be last, huh?
yeah,
Mexico,
Mexico, because if you see for the last few World Cups, they haven't been doing much well. Their players are also all scattered around. They don't have any players which are playing together. So Mexico, although they are doing very well in their country level, but when it comes to individual players, they don't have individual stars in them to prove. So to pull Mexico up in the group stage.
So I think it's going to be Argentina and Poland, as you said. I think Lewandowski also has a lot to prove, and I think it might be his last tournament World Cup, considering his age. So I think he is going to get the service this time, and I think it's going to be Mexico third and Saudi Arabia fourth. Okay, so let's move on to Group D now, and there is the world champions France. There's Tunisia, there's Australia, and then there's Denmark. And I think this is a little more tricky, at least the first two, than people might think of. But let's start with Pradyumna again. Uh, how do you think the Group D is going to pan out?
Denmark finishes first, and France just sneaks out into the second place. France will avoid the World Cup, winners' curse by just a bit. They will have a scary start. They might have a scary second game as well. They might just sneak out a couple of draws and just make it out of the group stage just by a point or two, with Australia giving them a tough fight, and Tunisia sadly faces another group stage exit after that I should say embarrassing moment against England last time round. So it won't be that bad for them this time, but this looks like the top four standing.
So,
The
so
four stand-
Denmark first, France second, Australia third, and Tunisia fourth.
Yes, yes.
Uh, Mr. Uday, what do you think? France, Tunisia, Australia, Denmark.
Obviously, France are also into reckoning to be again champions. So I will go with France first, and second is this thing. Sorry, what are
There's,
the
there's Denmark,
Denmark second.
there's Australia, and there's Tunisia.
So I will go with France, Denmark, Australia, and Tunisia.
And Sachin, what about you?
I will go with France. I don't know why. I feel Denmark might not make it. Like, I think so. I'm betting my money on Tunisia here because they have had a good run of form recently. Last 2 years. Plus, they had a great run at the Arab Club where they lost in the final against Algeria. I think you had seen the final live, Pradimna, so you would know. And it's a very good squad. So I may not know all the players there, but definitely I think so. Tunisia might just make it, and Denmark
I think it's going
might
to be
miss out.
France and Tunisia.
Yes,
Go-
yes.
It's an interesting one.
This is my this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so. It might be just Tunisia
That'll be
might
interesting.
make it. Yeah, and
What
Denmark
be
might
more
just miss
interesting
out
is
by
if
something.
Austria and Tunisia qualify, and France succumb to the curse once again.
But Australia coming last, definitely. So either it's France and Denmark or France or Tunisia, definitely, according to me. And one amongst Denmark or Tunisia missing out. So yeah.
So for me, it was a tough one. I wanted to select Denmark first, but I think France have the experience and the quality to narrowly probably edge out and come first. But Denmark's going to be second for sure, and I think Tunisia is going to be third, and Australia fourth. So now I think we have the most interesting group in the World Cup. That is Group E, because it has Spain and Germany and Japan and Costa Rica. So, Mr. Uday, we'll start with you. Spain, Germany, Japan, and Costa Rica. So,
As per my predictions, it is Germany first, Spain second, Costa Rica third, Japan, yes, again, there's a bit surprise element, Japan, which can upset either of the teams in the group
Yeah.
because they have a good forward. Japan has a good forward lineup, and which can spoil on a given day any of the best teams to spoil the apple cart. So, but as per my prediction, I feel Germany, Spain, Costa Rica, and Japan. But yet, the dark horse again is Japan.
Sachin, what do you think?
I think so. I don't know. I also want Japan to qualify. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just want Japan to qualify, but it's definitely going to be Spain first, Germany second. Japan missing out.
Yeah.
I badly want them to come in, but Japan missing out and Costa Rica fourth. Maybe people will disagree with that, but Costa Rica fourth according to me.
And Pradyumna, what do you think of
Yes,
this?
the man disagreeing with you is the
Pradyumna, take
first
the
man
picture.
disagreeing with you is here, sitting right here. But no, I'm not saying Costa Rica might have a good tournament, but you can never rule the Costa Ricans out
Oh
because
yeah. Definitely not.
2014 they know how to deal with a group of death because
Yeah.
2014 England, Uruguay, Italy, Costa Rica, and everybody
Yes.
said rest in peace Costa Rica. Guess who gets to the quarterfinals of the World Cup? Earlier I was talking about getting that momentum out of nowhere. Costa Rica knows how to get that momentum in the middle of the pitch and turn games around. So when nobody gives them a chance, they become the surprising element of this team. But this time it looks a bit difficult because Germany is coming out of the 4-year hiatus after having a group stage exit. So they've shrugged their shoulders, they've pulled their socks off and tried to get on the world stage again. And I don't think Hansi Flick will do that bad. So Germany goes first for me, and Spain looks a bit shaky in the midfield, and also in the attacking formations with Pedri Gavi coming in, youngsters having their first World Cup. Also with the aging Cesar Azpilicueta is on the right back, and Aymeric Laporte. Unai Simon, I mean, I don't know what happens to that guy. If you could realize the goal that he conceded against, I think it was Czech Republic, that own goal that he conceded in the Euros, if he is doing such kind of errors, David De Gea should have got a call up. I'm so sorry, Saad. You have to see the United goalkeeper again at the United Training Center. But if Spain don't make silly mistakes, they should be top. But I'm still giving them second place. Germany finishes first. Costa Rica, Japan finished on same points, so they are joint third.
So, I mean, as a Germany fan, I would like them to finish first, but I think they haven't been impressive enough for me to justify a first place based on what I've seen. So, I would go with Spain first. I think they're a better, more cohesive unit. I think Germany is going to finish second. I would go with Japan third. I think the standard of the J League is really high.
Yes.
People don't really give it as much credit as it should
It
be given.
do. Huh.
And while Costa Rica did well in 2014, that was almost 8 years ago. So let's go with Costa Rica fourth. Okay, so let's move on to Group F. Okay, and we have a last time's finalist Croatia in this group, along with Canada, Morocco, and Belgium. So this is also an interesting one. Sachin, let's go with you first
Yeah.
for this one.
I'm not looking at any surprises. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco has not been. Definitely, it's a Arab World Cup. This there has been this whole story around the Arab world getting its first World Cup. So, Arab team doing well is ideally what people would want, but I don't think so. Morocco will do great. Even Canada won't do great either. So Belgium, Croatia, favorites. Canada coming last, maybe. Morocco coming third. No surprises, according to me.
Now, what do you think of this group?
It's going to be yet another tricky group. Group F. Canada is finished top of its continental group qualifiers and they have been unbeaten. So I think they are going to spring a surprise. Alfonso Davies running, wreaking havoc on that left flank, but they will still fall short. And I'm giving them third place, which in the group with Belgium finishing first, and Croatia finishing second. Only I think goal difference would be the factor here. The Belgium-Croatia game would be a draw, is what I suppose. So based on that, I feel Belgium would finish top and Croatia would be finishing second. Third team to finish is Canada, and Morocco finishes last.
And Mr. Uday, what do you think of Group F? We have Morocco, Canada, Belgium, and Croatia.
I feel, from my point of view, I feel Belgium, Canada, Croatia, and Morocco. These are the four standings which I guess, because unless and until we don't know much about these teams, so unless and until they come onto the field and watch, but as far as their past and history and their games played in the qualifying stages, I will say that I will go with Belgium, as I told you the standings, four standings.
So Belgium and Canada, yeah?
Yeah, Belgium, Canada, Croatia, and Morocco.
Right. So according to me, I would have loved to pick Croatia first. Because they just do well in the big stage. Nobody expected them to reach the finals last time around, and they did. But I just think that while Belgium's golden generation is probably on its last legs, I think they have enough to finish top of the group. Probably followed closely behind by Croatia, from in my opinion. And then is Morocco, and I think Canada, while they have finished first, and I think the quality of opposition they have faced is not probably at this standard. So they finish last for me. So let's move on to Group G. Okay, we just have two groups remaining, and Group G has tournament favorites Brazil, along with Cameroon, Serbia, and Switzerland. So, Mr. Uday, we start with you this time.
As usual, we'll go with the favorites Brazil first, and I feel second will be Cameroon, because we have to expect, because they are coming up again after a break. After a break again, they are coming into this World Cup, so we have to expect much, because they are also a good formidable side whenever they play on this world level. So I feel Brazil, Cameroon, Switzerland, and Serbia. Serbia, I'm giving them the fourth spot, but my take will be Brazil, Cameroon, Switzerland, and Serbia.
Pradyumna, what do you think of Group G?
Brazil gets along the top of the group along with Switzerland, but Serbia and Cameroon will not make the cut. There's another scenario where I feel Samuel Eto'o just released the World Cup prediction saying that Cameroon will make it to the semi-finals. So I don't know why. And since he made that logical point that Cameroon is that team which just gains confidence out of sheer luck, getting through their way every time they feature in a World Cup, where Eto'o has played in the World Cup editions himself. So judging by that experience, I don't know. I have this scenario where Cameroon might just finish second, just bring up a surprise there. But Switzerland looks stronger with
Yeah.
experience, as well as the Xhaka Shaqiri story that is accompanied with them. Switzerland even finished in the semi-finals of the Euros,
Euros, yeah.
so they're quite a formidable side. So
And I
let's
think they defeated France, right?
yes, they also defeated even Denmark defeated France 2-0.
Yeah.
So so that's why I was like Denmark will finish first over France in that group, and Switzerland
Yeah.
might just sneak in here in second place to Brazil. So Brazil and Switzerland first and second, third Cameroon, and fourth goes Serbia.
And Sachin, what do you think?
Brazil, Switzerland going in, and Serbia just missing out, and Cameroon fourth. I don't know. Cameroon has this tendency of springing up always a surprise, but Switzerland has also been in great form. Plus, Switzerland also has this make do attitude that they get into the round of 16. They defeated Spain in the 2014 World Cup, the defending champions back then. It's Brazil and Switzerland for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be Brazil, Switzerland, Cameroon, and Serbia. That's just what I think. And we are moving on to the final group of the World Cup, which is Group H. And we have Korea, which is South Korea, obviously, Ghana, Uruguay, and Portugal. So, Sachin, let's start with you this time. What do you think teams will finish as?
So since the World Cup is happening in Asia, I would want the Asian teams to do well, but as far from the looks of it, none of them might make it out of the group stage this time around. So Korea is coming last for me in this time in
Yeah.
this group. Ghana second, Ghana third, and then Portugal, Uruguay. I don't know who will finish on top. Maybe Portugal.
Mr. Uday, what do you think of Group H?
Group H, I feel you all have forgotten Uruguay long back. Looking back, in 1930, they had won the first World Cup. Again, they won it in 1950. Again, if you see the group stages from which they have qualified, under the conditions which they have qualified after a long time in this World Cup, I still feel Uruguay is the best bet. I consider Uruguay as a top in this group, following with Portugal, South Korea, and Ghana.
And Pradyumna, what do you think of the standings?
Portugal finishes first with CR7 doing his magic and showing Eric Ten Hag what he's capable of. So maybe we'll see that. I can see the smile on her face. Saad is like he
But you
said it.
don't worry, even if Portugal comes second, they are still eligible for qualifying in the later stages. It is just question of the seeding in the group stages.
Right. Actually, Portugal. I don't know why, but Portugal looks clinical this time around. With the strengthened midfield with Joao Felix, Bruno Fernandes. That link-up play. Then Uruguay finishes second, even if they have a good group. Even they have a good history, as
Yeah.
Mr. Uday right. But and also Luis Suarez might be playing his last ever edition of the World Cup himself. So that could be a very good end to his career. Ghana narrowly misses out again.
Yeah.
Ghana and Uruguay are meeting again. It's like we want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Inside my mind, it's like we want to see another Luis Suarez incident again.
Handball.
Oh my goodness, that quarterfinal in South Africa was crazy.
I just hope he bites a couple of people, does a handball, and ends his international career on a high.
Oh my goodness. And that to Suarez again. Suarez like on the fray of red cards, handling the ball over the net once and then biting into Chiellini's shoulder once. I don't know what Suarez does in the group stages. So
Yeah.
if Suarez tries to keep his calm in the group stage, I think we'll see Uruguay sailing through easily. And I don't know why. Korea will spring up a fight, but still doesn't look as if they're going to kick it. So Portugal and Uruguay for me.
Yeah. Same. Since I want Portugal and Argentina in the final, so Portugal have to go through. I think they're going to be first. Followed by Uruguay. As long as Suarez behaves himself, and followed by Ghana and South Korea. So that ends our group stage discussion. Okay, and our section 3 is a little more serious comparatively. So it's about the controversy surrounding the World Cup in Qatar. So of course, there's been a lot of chatter about human rights, LGBTQ, and the corruption that got the World Cup in Qatar in the first place. So, do you think this controversy and the fact that teams have insisted on, showing some kind of support for LGBTQ or human rights or so on and so forth, and FIFA released a letter saying that guys, you need to focus on on the football. It's a football tournament. It's not you're not protesters. So, do you think these kind of aspects and the weather might overshadow the football aspects of this tournament? Pradyumna, let's start with you for this one.
I was about to, turn my mic off and camera off for this segment of the podcast. But here I am answering the question. Sachin, I'm not going into the geopolitical things. You're an expert on that. Everything related to politics, human rights. It's to the right of my screen here. It's Sachin Karekar who talks about it a lot. If I get any general knowledge update about international politics, is Sachin. But as far as I'm concerned, personally, I would just say, why is it that every time something happens in this part of Asia, something negative has to always, circulate? Be it a cricket World Cup in India, be it the Commonwealth Games which we hosted in 2010, I know there are things which we know are true, but also at the same time, the exaggeration that takes place. The best example I can give, and Sachin, I think even you'll agree to this, is the Beijing 2008 Olympics. Like everybody had the same issues around what is being discussed in Qatar. Everybody was talking about the same. That opening ceremony happened at the bird's nest in Beijing, and everybody was totally silenced by it.
Yes.
Nobody talked about the negative issues after that at all. I think Qatar 2022's opening ceremony and opening game is going to be like the curtain. If something is a curtain raiser, I think this will be a curtain dropper to all the other negative criticisms that might be surrounded to this tournament. And yes, it has been 12 years since Qatar won the bid for the 2022 World Cup. There's been a lot of controversy around saying that uh, you know negativity, bias, or you call it anything. But at the end of the day, when you see the first game being played, whatever issues you want to raise, they're going to be kept on the sidelines for a bit. And if there's anything that's been positively shaping up their entire scenario and the entire infrastructure around anything, it was the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 because let's face it, Qatar has been on a developing scale since that day when they were announced as hosts, and 12 years later you see the development around that region. It's really amazing to see. So it has brought progress. There's still a lot of progress to be seen, and I think they would not just improve but excel in whatever developments they're doing, be it social, cultural, political, or developmental.
Mr. Uday, what do you think? Do you think the controversy regarding the Qatar World Cup might overshadow the football that will be played in this tournament?
See, all said and done, what has happened is the past. Now we are looking forward for a good opening and a World Cup, which we are always awaiting after 4 years, and that too we are coming out of a pandemic. So, looking into all and taking everything into consideration, it is always better to have a positive mindset and going in a positive way rather than crying over spilt milk. Looking on the positive side, on the aspect of the game and the love, the what it's a world game. It's not like other games where it's done easily. So it's a fan following and the love of the country and the fans. And but only one question about this tournament is, rather than more than the human rights of the what has happened regarding GTP and about the workers, I'm more concerned about the fan, woman fan and women of Qatar, whether they are safe enough during this tournament, considering the rules and regulations of Saudi is rather difficult for women. And when we are thinking women footballers to take them on that level, so how far the women are safe in this World Cup? My concern is more about that rather than what has happened. But I'm always thinking that we should support Qatar for staging for whatever in whatever condition and whichever circumstances they have tried to make this happen. So it's not a mean thing what they have achieved. See, there are always ups and downs. They cannot be always positive or negative. So taking into consideration, we have to help and see this tournament is a success, but only concern about this tournament, the safety of women.
Sachin, what do you think about the controversy surrounding the World Cup? And do you think it will overshadow the football that will be played?
When once the tournament kicks off, people tend to sideline those things. This is going to play, a part in the dialogue that going ahead. This issue is going to pop up during the World Cup as well, and even post World Cup. Once you are reviewing this, okay, there are controversies. There is a very very controversial World Cup, a very very controversial bid won the World Cup. But it's great that it's happening in the Arab world. It has the entire Arab world in general has a history of football, and Arab world in general needed a World Cup. The Muslim world in general also needed a World Cup, and let's look at that point as well. And if you look at South Africa, if you look at Brazil, if you look at Russia, there were controversies. South Africa, are they ready to host the World Cup? Is there enough infrastructure in place? Raste baneni and there are nothing in place. Brazil, there was this
Brazil
massive
couldn't
corruption.
afford a World Cup. I mean, they didn't have their own
Yes, yeah,
widespread poverty amongst the people, and they spend what 16 billion on the infrastructure of the World Cup.
exactly. And then even Russia, why are we giving the World Cup
Yeah,
and everything? And you see today, what happened after that as well. These controversies are going to play a part. It happened with the Olympic Games in 2008 as well. It happened with the 2016 Rio Games as well, and it's going to happen with any other future event as well when it's hosted in a country that is rather not Western, or that is not recognized as Western by anyone else. So even if tomorrow India hosts a World Cup, we know what happened when we hosted the Commonwealth Games. If tomorrow if India hosts a World Cup, there would be too many eyes. There would be talk about corruption, and these things happen across the world. This is going to happen. That's the sad reality of sport. Journalists have to make sure that it's reported and make sure that it's cut down, the corruption is cut down. But these are part and parcel, and Qatar will also be left with. My only issue mainly is the $220 billion that they will be spending on the World Cup, and will any other country or any other bid will be able to match that amount, because that amount is absurdly high.
yeah,
But it's still happening, and we will be enjoying 30 odd days of fantastic football, the world coming together, billions of people watching it,
yeah,
and probably for that's why they have spent $200 billion. So
yeah. And moreover, from what I've read, the 200 billion that is going to be spent once the World Cup is over, they're going to repurpose the infrastructure, the stadiums, for other
yeah,
things. Uh,
that's what they say, but it may not happen.
So, in my opinion, like a lot of fans are pretty upset about the fact that you can't drink alcohol in the stadium. The English fans want that alcohol in the stadiums. There are designated areas to drink. And those are things I'm not really concerned about. Fans will always find something or the other to complain about. You know, but what I'm concerned about is the countries that are participating at the World Cup, because I think 9 or 10 European nations, along with England and Wales, have said that they'll be wearing the One Love armbands, in every match. Denmark's jerseys are going to be toned down, to protest against the human rights, and I think, and while I'm all for it, uh, as a principle, you know uh, I think when you go to a country, you respect their laws. It's as simple as that. Or you don't go. That's for the fans as well. And I just think that, if this was held in Europe, the country would expect people coming in to respect their laws and customs. And for me, it's the same. If you're going to Qatar, you gotta respect what they believe in. You respect their culture, or you do not go. I just hope that, England and Denmark and some of the other countries don't go overboard with this one love thing, and just focus on the football, because that's what they're there for. It's a football tournament. It's so yeah. So that's what I think. I don't think it's gonna affect the quality of the football, but I do think it's gonna be a looming factor. Where anything goes wrong in Qatar in the World Cup, and people will be like, these guys should never have gotten it in the first place. Whereas if in any other country, South Africa or Germany or Brazil, people won't be so harsh. So that's what I feel. So moving on, is our last segment of this discussion, okay, which is like a quick rapid fire. Okay, I'll be asking one question, and each of you all can give the response as quickly as possible, and then we move on to the next. So, which is the one team that you think will surprise everybody with their performances at the World Cup? Pradyumna, let's start with you.
Senegal.
And Mr. Uday, what do you think? Which team will surprise everyone with their performances? Surprise team.
Uruguay.
And Sachin?
Senegal with Pranimna on this one.
Right. I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna be Germany. I mean, they are favorites,
I-
I'd say, but
I just want to add this. Even Qatar can spring up a surprise this time around. It's a home nation. You can't rule them out to spring
I
up
mean,
a surprise.
I would say Germany are not heading into this as favorites. They're a traditionally strong team, but I don't think they're the favorites. But I think they're gonna make it far. That's what I think. So, who do you think is going to be the best young performer at the World Cup? Sachin, let's start with you.
Pedri.
And Uday, Mr. Uday, what do you think? Who will be the best young performer at this tournament?
I feel Gavi.
Gavi. And Pradyumna?
Kai Havertz.
And I think Gavi as well. So, yeah. And quick prediction about the winner. Mr. Uday, who do you think will win the World Cup?
For Diego, I'll go for Messi, Argentina.
Yes, Argentina. Pradyumna? Can you hear me?
I think I'll go with Argentina.
Argentina.
Yes, Argentina.
And Sachin?
Same answer, nothing different. Argentina.
I was going to say Argentina as well. So I think this whole call is going to be a big waste of time if Argentina don't win this to anybody who's watching it. So, yeah. I wanted to thank you all for joining us today. It was great to listen to all your views, and I'm sure it was very informative for me, and I'm sure it was informative for all of you and anybody who's watching this. So thank you for your time, and I hope that we do something like this again. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining.
Sad. Thank you, Sad, and thank you, Spogo.
Thank you. Thank you, Sachin, for your time as well.
Thank you, Sat. Thank you,
Mr.
Spogo.
Uday.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Spogo.
Pradyumna. And take care, guys.
Bye, Sachin. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Pradeep.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
And let's have a great World Cup.
Yeah.